Hello, Stampin' friends. This is Lisa at Live and Let Stamp. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. This one is Fill the World with Joy. That's what we need to do. Definitely fill the world with joy. It's a great message. And the colors in this one, I used my color wheel to come up with ideas. I knew I wanted something like this circle to represent the sun, like fill the world with joy and sunlight. So I went with that. And then that led me to the Night of Navy and the Coastal Cabana. And I think the combination looks really good. So I'm going to start with the card base. And that is in Coastal Cabana. Let me see, this might be, so this is what I need. It's 5.5 by 8.5, and I'm going to score it at 4.25 with my scoring tool. So let me make sure it is the right size. Yes. Okay, 4.25. And this one is also going to be a landscape orientation card. It also has an embossed layer. I love embossing. DSP and embossing is my favorite thing. And I use this new one called All in a Row embossing folder. And this one is not a 3D one. You can always tell because they're a lot thinner than the 3D ones. So if you're going to do this, the correct sandwich is the 1 and the 2 3s. So if you're like, oh my goodness, I can't remember this. All you have to do, if you try to do it like a 3D with just the 1 and the 4, it's just going to go right through and it's not even going to do anything. So, but that is the sandwich. And it comes out looking like this with the lines and the dots and the flowers, and it's all in like a checkerboard pattern, which I thought was really pretty. Then I decided it really needed something to go with this yellow. So I decided to put a matte layer in under the white to kind of tie into the yellow. So I used Daffodil Delight. And for that, we're just gonna cut it down a little bit. So instead of it being 5.5 or 5.25, we're gonna do it right at 5 3/8. And instead of 4 or 4.25, we're gonna do it at 4 1/8. So it's just gonna put a little tiny matte layer. See how that's gonna just give that little tiny matte layer, and it's gonna go right on there like that. This is from the Stylish Shapes. It's the largest circle in those dies. And then we're gonna do our stamping. So this is 1 1/8 by 2 3/8, and on this we're going to stamp Joy, and we're going to do that in Night of Navy. You see where I practiced when I was making the original card. So again, this is kind of a long one, so we're going to use that long block and go into our stamps and get that Joy. So let's do a practice. Whoa, I can already see there is some cat fur there. I'm bringing my Stampin' Jammy. Give it a cleaning off. It looks like that hair is trapped below the stamp. So let's try this again. Must have been on my block. Make sure it's nice and dry. Let's see. Oh, there's something on the joy there. This is why we practice. I'm going to clean it off again. Make sure it's nice and dry. Stamp. Oops. There. It looks like a little spot there. Goodness. You have days like this where things just don't want to stamp right. Okay, looks like we've got it now. So that's going to go on this one. Trying to get it as straight as I can. Oh, that's great. Okay, so that's done. And then we're going to do Fill the World With on this piece, which is 1/2 inch by 2.5 inches. And that is kind of a long stamp. So I am going to go ahead and use this same block. Fill the world with. Just going to lay that down so it's straight. And what I do with my practice sheet. I'm not sure. Oh, there it is. Try to conserve paper as much as I can and do my practices on the same one. Perfect. Fill the world with love. Or joy. It's joy. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so we have our sentiment, and now we need our banners. So I made these banners using the retired banner punch. If you order the kit, or if you place a $40, at least $40 order in my store, and you get the kit, these will already be punched out for you. If you're just copying this to make it home and you don't have this punch, you can just cut it by hand. You can measure it, or you can just use straight pieces of cardstock and not do the banner. But I'm going to go ahead and do the banner punch. So I need Night of Navy and Coastal Cabana, and I need 2 inches wide. So this is about 2 inches wide. And for the one that is Coastal Cabana, that one is 1.5. So we need a 1.5 from the Coastal Cabana. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that. And I'm going to punch them first, and then I'll worry about how long they are to make sure they're under our little yellow circle. So 1.5 inches wide on the Coastal Cabana. And I found if it's just slightly below the 1.5, it pretty much guarantees it's going to go into the punch easily. So let's see how we did. So this is a punch where you can do different sizes, and you just lay it in the size, you push it through, nice and straight, and then you punch, and it comes out like that. And then for the navy, this one is 2 inches, and it's a little too wide. So I don't think I'll be able to get that off cleanly. So I'm just going to get another piece. to cut. Okay. So we're going to cut this just below the 2. Just below, and hopefully it'll go through. Yep, perfect. Push it all the way in and punch. So now we have our navy blue and our Coastal Cabana flags, or banners. Let's see. I think we have everything except our world. So to color the world, there is no Coastal Cabana blend. There are no Stampin' blends for Coastal Cabana. Not sure why. At least I don't have them, and I thought I had them all. So if they're not in my rack, I'm assuming they don't have them. So what I used was Summer Splash, because it's really super close. Really super close. So the green is for the land, of course. And I think I used, I'm going to use the pen tip. And I always look for Florida because I can always recognize Florida. So that looks like Florida. So I know this is the land. Coloring can be so relaxing and fun. Again, the black was stamped in Memento ink. Very important when you're using alcohol markers. Okay, let's do the land across the pond. Okay, so there's our earth. Whoops. And I think I'm just going to leave it as is. And then I used Balmy Blue to do the water. And I'm going to go ahead and do that in the lighter color as well. And I'm going to use the same tip. Gives me a little more control, I think. Plus, I like to save my brush tips for blending. And you could certainly, as a matter of fact, I think I did kind of think of like a light source and do the bottom of the globe a little darker. So I can go in and do that. See, this is on the edge. It would probably be darker as well. So what you can do is then take your wow, that's tough. Your darker one, I'm going to use the brush tip, and I'm just going to make the bottom of our globe a little bit darker. Darker water. Okay, let's see how that does. Now, I'll use my blending tip. Don't need to do a lot of blending in those tiny spots. So let's just kind of do a little bit. You don't want it, well, I don't like it to be too pronounced. Well, interestingly, I never liked how it looked, and I did the whole thing. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a little more at the bottom. Okay, gives it a little more 3D look. I can do the same thing with my darker Summer Splash, and then blend it in. This one will blend in a little better. Maybe I'll try to feather it a little more. I am by no means an artist, but these markers make it pretty simple to just give it a little bit of contour. So now that is ready. I believe now we can put it together. So let's get all our components. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put this on the yellow. That's Daffodil Delight. I'm gonna use a lot of adhesive since it is embossed, especially where there's embossing. Again, it's just the tiniest little edging. Just the tiniest bit. Okay, looks good. And then all of that's going to go on our card base, our Coastal Cabana. And again, if you order the card kit or if you place a $40 order in my store, the card kit will contain all of the cardstock that I used, cut to size. All the embossing will be done for you. It'll be in your kit. I cannot put any stamped items in. So if you want to make the cards as shown, you will need to have the Hope, Love, and Joy dies and stamps. So next we're going to do this. Now, normally I would do this and I would kind of make this do this, but I thought I'm going to do something different. And I really liked it. So the circle goes about here. And we're going to want these. I should have just measured them before I put them on, but I didn't. Okay, this is going to go here. So we're going to want to cut about here. So let's get our cutter. And where did my fingernail make that spot? So there. And then this one needs to be about here where my thumbnail is. Now let's see what we can do. So the green goes first, or the Coastal Cabana teal, I guess it is. And then that, and then our sun representation. Perfect. And I'm going to use liquid glue for this. It'll give me a little bit of give in case it's not perfectly straight when I measure it. So I'm going to eyeball about in the middle. Okay, and then I'm going to double check with my ruler. And I'm going to do it to the bottom of the yellow. So that's 1 5/8, and that's not 1 5/8. Needs to come up just a tad. There we go. Okay, and then our blue, our Night of Navy, which is going to go right about there. With the Coastal Cabana pretty much in the middle. Gonna measure that. It's about 1 1/8. And that is, needs to go up just a tad. Okay. And now our sunshine. This is from, by the way, it's a new paper pack called Mixed Up Essentials. And it doesn't go with any stamp set or die set. It is just a lot of different colors and a lot of different patterns. You can find a lot in there. Like, oh, I'm looking for something blue, and there's lots of blues. And I was looking for yellow, and there was our yellow. Okay, so Joy, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to put this on with dimensionals. All right here. And I'm using some little ones here. So that, you can see that was a piece of paper that I used for something else. and this little edge piece. See, the nice thing about Stampin' Up! Is they give you this paper. If you mess up, you just flip it over. Good as new. Take off the backings and put on our earth. Okay, where's Florida? There it is. Okay, so something like that. Looks great. I'm gonna put this on with liquid glue. We're gonna want a little bit above the blue so you can see that pattern there. And then this is also gonna go on with dimensionals. And this is an edge piece. I could actually use the whole thing. Nah, I'm not gonna use the whole thing. That's a little bit of overdue. With the edge pieces though, you can be generous because they're like bonus dimensionals because you've used all the actual counted dimensionals. And this is just the edge. Remove the backing. And just moved it over just a tad there. Fill the world with joy. Now all I need are my embellishments, and I will show you what I did with the inside. For the embellishments, I'm using the Opal Rounds assortment that it has Night of Navy, Daffodil Delight, and white, and I've used all of the navy. They're really pretty. I don't know if you can see, but if you haven't had them, they kind of have like this little iridescent shine. It looks like maybe even a little bit of a glitter inside them. They're really, really pretty. I've ordered some more. It's bonus days, so for every $50 you spend, that's after rewards and before tax and shipping, you get a $5 coupon that you can use in February. So that's good the entire month of January. And then you can spend your coupons in February. So fun. So if you're ordering, make sure to try. Like I did my order the other day and I wound up with $99.50. So I didn't want to miss out on that second coupon by 50 cents. So I ordered an ink refill for my summer splash, no less. All right, so there it is. And on the inside, I just used a piece of the DSP at the bottom, but you could do an earth, which I think is what I did here, and color in that earth to match the one on the front of your card. And on the Hope card, I did the ribbon inside in the corner.